I think the last show that I went to that kind of blew me away, just going as, like, not like a group of friends going out for the night, but me just going by myself to see the band play, was when the White Stripes had put out the Elephant album.
Yeah. I think it's 2002 or 3 or something.
Yeah, that's the last show where I basically said I'm going by myself just to watch this show.
Why?
Because at the time I felt that I was lacking a little bit of inspiration as to how can you do things differently as far as like a presentation of a good show. Like, I was seeing all the metal bands all the time, and you know, you have ideas on how to do things, and I think I need some like sort of different input, and I thought their album was good, and it gave me different input. It was just like, you know, we try and not steal other people's ideas, but sometimes seeing something cool can lead you to another thing.
Is there one thing that you remembered from the show that you well did not copy but did influence you for yourself?
Yeah. What I remember is that their backdrop was red, and it was a very naked stage setting. And I remember the road crew was dressed in suits and hats and looked like old school mafiosos, and they came out and did work on stage. And I remember, I don't know if this was mistaken or not, but the strobe lighting, the flashes were basically placed in a way that they didn't kind of come out and like hit you in the face, but you saw the reflection of the flash. And it kind of seemed like it was not really on purpose. And I thought to myself that, what if you just take them and strategically place them somewhere on stage where you cannot actually see the flash coming out, but you just see the effect of the light. And that's something that we incorporated on the next tour, basically based on that. We had to change it a little bit from stage to stage based on its size and height and the power of the strobes. But it's cool in a way that, you know, looking back at those videos, that you see like your band breaking into a really intense part, and you see this blitzkrieg of flashing lights on stage, but you don't really see the source where it's coming from.
Yeah. So it's funny because of the, well, you visiting the White Stripe. You were saying you were lacking inspiration, stuff like that, because, well, from 1993 until 2002, every 2 or 3 years you had a new album. And 4 years you didn't release an album, between Volcano and now Diabolical. Can you say that time period, was it for you, well, an important time period for the band?
No, I mean, what happened for us is when we did that record, we did it was a quite strange setup with the touring cycle and everything, because what we had is that, just thinking back, we did a Nordic tour, which was quite extensive. It was like a month of shows and some indoor festival stuff, and then we did the biggest European tour of our career after that, a couple of months. And with all the press that comes with it and festival shows and all that, and then we wanted to change our label situation in America. And I was in Los Angeles every now and then at the time, and then I was told by a guy called Casey Chaos in a sort of modern sounding punk band called Amen, that he's asking me about if I know Darren from System of a Down. I said no, and he said, oh, he's a huge Satyricon fan. Oh, really? Yeah, he's a friend of mine. And then one day I was hanging out at Casey's house, and he said, Darren wants to come down and see. I was like, oh, cool. So he came down and he started talking about his new like imprint label that he had set up through Columbia or Sony Music, and as we started talking, we realized that this might be a good project. He had a brand new thing running through a major label. He was a big fan. He could get behind it and endorse it. And so we did it, but that kind of meant like instead of starting working on a new album project, it was almost like we went back and did the Volcano thing one more time, but this time in the States, working through all like the build up and doing all the press and traveling back and forth, and then did a big tour supporting Morbid Angel and going back headlining after having done more festivals in Europe. So it was a strange way of doing things. But,
so it wasn't really for you 4 years off. It wasn't like, well, you were redefining.
I remember coming back. It was like people saying like, "Oh, you had a long break," and I'm like, "Oh, really?"
So you don't know. Okay. No.